Ready to level up your DevOps skills? Welcome to K4 Coding Academy. Master Kubernetes, Terraform, and AI. Get real-world platform engineering projects. Subscribe now and start mastering your future.
All right, let's jump right into this explainer and explore how modern platform engineering is radically transforming the developer experience. I mean, if you're operating at scale, you already know the friction points. But today, we're going to look at the definitive blueprint for totally eliminating them: golden paths and paved roads.
Imagine walking into a restaurant absolutely starving and being told that before you can even cook your meal, you first have to build a kitchen yourself. I mean, that's absurd, right? Yet, that is exactly what happens in organizations that don't have a dedicated internal developer platform. Developers are losing 30 to 40% of their time just wrestling with infrastructure, debugging CI/CD pipelines, and writing custom deployment scripts, instead of, actually coding the features that deliver business value.
So, here's our roadmap for today. We're going to cover the developer dilemma, an executive summary of golden paths, the anatomy of an IDP, the platform trap, measuring success, and finally, next steps. Let's get right into it.
Section 1. The developer dilemma. Tool fatigue and overload.
A really staggering chunk of valuable engineering time, actually up to 40% in some cases, is completely wasted on custom deployment pipelines, fragmented DevOps tasks, and just endlessly wrestling with Kubernetes configurations. And this isn't just inefficient, it's honestly a primary driver of developer burnout. Why? Because it forces your engineers to act as amateur operations experts instead of focusing on what makes your business unique.
Section 2. Executive Summary. The Paved Road to Production.
So, what exactly is a golden path, or, a paved road, as the folks at Netflix call it? Basically, it provides a well-stocked buffet of prepared foundational tools. It's a highly opinionated guide that completely abstracts away the underlying complexity. Instead of telling a developer, hey, go figure out how to provision a database securely, the platform team just provides a self-service API that does it for them, adhering to all the organizational best practices right out of the gate.
Think about the massive contrast between the chaotic dirt paths of the past and the friction-free, standardized highways of a truly modern engineering culture. On one side, you've got massive cognitive overhead, heavy maintenance burdens, and totally inconsistent security. But on the other side, the golden path gives everyone a common foundation. We're talking standardized pipelines, consistent deployments, and security scanning that is baked right in from day one.
The real secret sauce here, though, is the escape hatch rule. These paths are optional guardrails. They are not mandatory gates. If a team has a highly specific edge case, sure, they can venture off the path, but they lose the premium support of the platform team. You want to make the right way the absolute easiest way, so developers voluntarily choose it. And crucially, it has to be entirely self-service. The absolute second a developer has to stop and raise a Jira ticket, boom, the system is broken.
Section 3. Anatomy of an IDP, the 3 layers. An effective internal developer platform, or IDP, basically separates concerns into 3 very distinct layers of abstraction. Application developers should ideally never have to manually touch that bottom foundation layer. They're going to interact mostly up in layer 3, the developer experience, which triggers automated actions down in layer 2, the service layer. Let's break down exactly how this works. Down at the very bottom, you have the foundational layer. This is all your complex cloud resources, things like AWS instances, Kubernetes clusters, network security policies, and IAM roles. This layer remains the exclusive turf of your dedicated platform team. They manage the sheer, brutal complexity of the cloud, so your application engineers just don't have to.
Meanwhile, the application devs are living exclusively up at the top layer. They're using clean interfaces, internal portals, templates, and automated code scaffolds. Because all that crazy complexity below is completely abstracted away, a developer can use this top layer to deploy a brand new microservice, spin up a staging environment, and observe production metrics in literally under 15 minutes.
Section 4. The platform trap. Build versus buy.
$500,000. Yeah, you heard that right. That staggering number represents the baseline annual ongoing maintenance cost of falling into what researchers call the DIY backstage trap. While building a custom portal from scratch sounds amazing on paper, the day-to-day reality of actually maintaining it is a completely different story.
Here is exactly why that cost is so incredibly high. Spotify's Backstage is just a framework. It is not a finished, out-of-the-box product. It gives you the scaffolding, sure, but your organization has to build and wire up everything else: the plugins, the catalog integrations, the search indexing. Organizations routinely underestimate this, ending up dedicating multiple highly paid engineers just to keep the internal portal breathing, while developers might just ignore it entirely if it doesn't instantly solve their daily problems.
But honestly, doing nothing might be even worse. If you don't centralize your efforts effectively through a platform, you're looking at severe consequences. We're talking about up to 90% idle CPU waste in fragmented Kubernetes clusters, plus unmanaged cognitive load that quickly makes developer burnout your absolute #1 retention risk. This is exactly why over half of all organizations are actively modernizing via IDPs right now.
Section 5. Measuring success. Tracking platform KPIs.
Look at this as a product journey, not some massive top-down IT project. You have to treat your developers like they are your customers. You must start small, build one really solid golden path for a specific pain point, like deploying a Node.js microservice end-to-end. Work super closely with just a couple of early adopter squads to perfect it. Make sure the whole thing works in under 15 minutes, document it flawlessly, and then let it organically scale through internal champions. And of course, you've got to measure the right things here. Don't just count the raw number of deployments. Establish your baseline DORA metrics before you even start. Honestly, the most brutally honest metric of a platform's success is time to first deploy for a brand new hire. Also, keep an eye on your platform adoption rate. Ultimately, if developers are voluntarily using your platform because it genuinely sparks developer joy and completely slashes their time to production, well, you've succeeded.
Section 6. Outro and next steps. The business payoff.
Here's a fun fact. Spotify engineers actually borrowed the term golden path from a famous sci-fi quote in the novel Children of Dune. But, it's highly fitting. Just like in the novel, it truly represents the only sustainable, survivable future for an engineering organization that is trying to scale up without completely collapsing under its own operational weight.
When you get this right, by treating your platform as a real product, the business payoff is absolutely massive. You go from code to production in minutes instead of days. You bake security and governance in by default rather than awkwardly bolting it on at the end. You completely eliminate the huge cost of duplicate tooling. And most importantly, you cultivate genuine, lasting developer happiness and retention.
The truth is, you already have a platform right now, whether you built it on purpose or completely by accident. The real question is how you're going to manage it going forward.
If you found this explainer on developer self-service and golden paths valuable, please hit that like button, share this with your engineering leadership team, and subscribe for more complex topics explained simply. But before you go, I want to leave you with one final thought to chew on. Where exactly do you want your team spending their valuable energy? Are you going to intentionally design a platform, or will you just continue letting every single squad waste time reinventing the wheel in total isolation? Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.